Hello there my darlings, and welcome back to another little episode of Love Warframes. And today, as you can see on the screen, we're taking a look at Kume's new augment mod. There were 4 released on the 19th of March update. If you missed it, you missed out on a lot of stuff. And I just wanted to take a little look at it. There's one issue with it, but we'll go over that in the video, my darlings. In the meantime, if this video or any of my other videos, and there are a lot of them, tickle your fancy, could you tickle my like, comment and or sub button, and I will be eternally grateful. You have that in writing. In the meantime, let's get into it. So I have already done a Kume video, but if you don't know where to get her, obviously you can buy her from the market for platinums, Warframe market, not from other players. She's not a prime. Or as long as you've done the Once Awake and Sayers Vigil quests, you can come to Cetus and fast travel to Kume, or just head to the shrine that is right by where you spawn in, and the shrine defense will be here. I don't actually know. I think you can choose the shrine defense on the navigation chart as well. And when you do this shrine defense mission, it's basically a defense with 2 points to defend and some shrine goodies to deliver up to the shrine with a little boss fight at the end. It's fine. You earn fate pearls per mission, like a set amount, slightly more for Steel Path, and you can come here and buy the blueprints that you see in front of you, or they will potentially drop from just doing the shrine defense. And honestly, as you can see, I've got some Kume blueprints already, and I'm probably going to build another one, see if I can Helminth her. So this is where you would come, and there's a couple of extra goodies here. I actually don't know if I've got hold of those yet. I'm going to work towards them, you know, the special little mods for the weapons. Her Aminato is actually a really good melee. I really enjoy using it. Just FYI. And just briefly, while we're looking at her beautiful fashion frame here, Kume is the 58th unique Warframe to be released, and all her abilities are based on unique Japanese words, and it's very much RNG, rolling the dice. And also, to build her main blueprint, it doesn't take 72 hours, it actually takes 24 hours, much like our beautiful Rhino now. So let's have a look at Kume's new augment. It's her only augment, and we're going to discuss the goods and the bads about it, you know, the positive vibes and why they may have created this augment mod for her second ability. So her second ability is called Omikuju, and it is a rolling of the dice, and it's all to do with decrees, very much like the Duviri vibe. And you have to complete a challenge to earn the decree. And there's been a little bit of like, this feels irksome in some missions. So, and because it has a cooldown that then increases every time you pop the ability. They're basically trying to get you to not use it and spam it for the whole entire mission, because the decrees can really impact gigantically how much damage Kume does, and I don't think people realize it. And I didn't use it that much because it felt irksome, especially in shorter missions. You know, you need this ability really in longer missions because you have to do like a little mini challenge within your mission, and it felt irksome, I'll be honest. So now they've got the augment mod for it, Omikuju's Fortune. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to have to use this ability now. So that's what I've done. And now I realise why they've done this. So Omikuju's augment, reduce Omikuju's cooldown by 4 seconds when you kill an enemy with the weapon affected by Kume's passive. So Kume's passive randomly selects one of your weapons and adds like a status spreading effect to it. So we'll have a very quick look at her abilities so that you understand why this augment mod is here. Like, why is it? So her passive, every 60 seconds, one of Kume's weapons that you've got on you will inflict random status effects for 60 seconds. So this is like this endless status spreading effect passive, which is very good. Now, if you pay attention to it being your primary or secondary or whatever, you can then kill enemies, and with this Omikuju augment, reduce the cooldown of her second ability, because that second ability, when you pop it, as I mentioned, it has an increased cooldown every time you use it. And let's take a look at her first ability, Kumihumu. Weave the threads of destiny. Enemies who touch the threads suffer a random elemental status effect. So this bit at the bottom, the roll of 666s, creates threads that inflict one of every elemental status effect. That is true for all of her abilities. So she has 5 dice once you've ranked her up to 15 and above. And if 3 of those dice land on a 6, that is known as Shadow's Trinity. And that is when you will start boosting up your abilities. And this is, I think, one of the things about Kume that people don't like, this RNG-ness to her abilities. So her second ability, I'll try not to go into too much detail here because it's very tempting. Omikuju, this is the one with the new augment, and Kume glimpses a favourable future and the precise steps needed to reach it. To complete the challenge, to earn a decree. Unlucky rolls add a debuff, but you can hold the ability to reject it. A roll of triple sixes, this is your passive dice roll every time you pop your abilities, by the way, grants your decree without doing the challenge. So she basically opens this fancy envelope. I don't know if you've ever done Duviri. I can't personally stand Duviri, but it's very much linked to that. And you get a challenge, and it'll be like kill 30 enemies while sliding, or kill 45 enemies 10 meters away. The amount of enemies seems to get higher the longer you stay in, and the more you pop this ability. But every single time you pop this ability, it has a cooldown, and that cooldown increases every single time you pop it. So even when you reject it, that counts as a time that you popped it, and the cooldown will increase, which is why they created this augment mod to reduce the cooldown timer in between each time you pop it. And the reason they've capped it, as I've read on Reddit as well, and I agree after using it, is the decree rewards, which stack up. They don't go anywhere, they stack up, make you like super powerful. So we'll talk about that in a moment, but let's have a look at her third ability. Omamori, her third ability, surround yourself with charms, each with a chance to have enemy attacks heal you instead of damage you. The number of charms is determined by Kume's dice roll. So this is a RNG, random chance, based on your passive dice roll, as you can see on the bottom right of that little screen there. And the roll of triple sixes grants you, you know, Shadow's Trinity, grants you invulnerability for the duration of your charms. Now, I had this happen, and it kind of glitched and I stayed invulnerable for like round after round after round. It didn't go off, and I was like, is this broken? I'm okay with it. I loved it. And all of a sudden I started to fall in love with Kume. But the fact that it's RNG, the fact that it's just a chance of getting those triple sixes feels a little bit unfortunate. So her fourth ability, Bunraku, wield your foe's fate's threads like the strings of marionettes. And honestly, it's such cutesy music when they're all strung up. I kind of like it. Kume's dice determine how many status effects foes in front of Kume will suffer. In front of her, by the way. A roll of triple sixes, you know, the Shadow's Trinity, by the way, the RNG dice roll, maximizes status effects stacks and extends Bunraku to enemies behind Kume. So this is where we come into this is the issue with the augment mod. So I already had Helminth, that second ability, the Omikuju, off, which meant I couldn't use that augment mod. I'm using Hildrin's ability, Pillage, on her second. Ergo, you can see the Blazing Pillage augment mod there, which spreads heat status effects around, I believe. And this is a really good build. This was doing me really well, because you still get your passive roll of the dice, you still get the buffs on your other abilities, but to use the Omikuju, obviously we have to have an Omikuju build, and this is where really having the Omni formers might come into their own, because as you can see, I've now got some former polarity issues because I want to have two very different sort of former builds in a way. So I might put an Omni former in RC, because that's a lot of resources, and that's 4 formers that go into building Omni formers. But as you can see, we've got the Omikuju build here with the augment mod, and I've got 1 Archon in her, so I'm just about to put some more in her. So while using Kume, what I realised is I wanted my casting speed to be improved, because you use her 4th ability quite a lot. Well, I did. I was leaning very heavily on it, because it strings up your enemies in front of you and potentially behind you on marionette strings, so they can't attack you and they're just being dealt status stacks. So I wanted to build up status, effects, possibility. I wanted to build up my casting speed, my preparation. I didn't feel the need to build up her ability strength and duration and her armor, because she just feels very tanky. Like, there's something about Kume. I didn't really mod her specifically for health or armor or anything like that, but she rarely went down. And I will show you some simulacra and testing I did on like 220 steel path enemies. I haven't level capped her, but I know that there are people that have level capped her with ease. So there's something about her that is very, very useful. And obviously when you start getting those decree buffs, it kind of makes it even tankier and even more like deadly, like lethal to her enemies. Okay, so we headed to the simulacrum because it's easier to test builds out here than in missions and actually see what's happening in a sort of more controlled environment. So I've got her pillage build on right now. I will show you the Omikuju build. I just wanted to show you my build that I've just been happily using now and again, and I love it. I kind of like her. I forgot that she's got this little sound effect of her little tippy tappy heels when she runs around, which I find adorable. So at the moment, I think the enemies are on level 200. I do put them up to 220, and they are on the Steel Path modified enemies. So we're on Steel Path, essentially, taking on the modified enemies, right? And she's doing fine with these groups of enemies. She's doing great. And this is just her pillage build. This isn't even the Omikuju build. This isn't all of her abilities working in conjunction with each other. So let's have a look at them. Let's have a look at the passive, actually. That's the most kind of the thing that confused me the most. So it's these dice, these 5 dice in the bottom right here, these little red and pink things, and with a number in the between. And the number pops up every time you pop an ability. So you're re-rolling the dice. The higher the number, obviously, the better. If it's 12 or below, don't get too excited. And if you do have Omikuju at that point, you're going to get a debuff if it's 12 or below. So if it's 12 or below, just don't pop that ability. Pop another one, try and get a higher dice roll, and then pop Omikuju, whatever. And to the left of these dice, as you can see, there's a little picture of a weapon with a little white circular bar that's counting down. This is the 60-second passive. So every 60 seconds, it offers you a weapon that will, if you use it, apply status stacks. So if you want to use your primary for 60 seconds, go for it, because you can do some intense damage. And it was these little things I didn't quite understand how they were working. I didn't really understand the dice roll, the numbers. I didn't understand how that was working. I understand it now. It's a passive. Every time you pop your abilities, the dice re-roll. The higher the number, the better the buffs. And as you can see, I've now switched to my Omikuju build. Now, this is a mecha empowered build, so I've got the mecha mods in my Huras Kubro companion as well. And this is just a status spreader. Now, I popped a decree, and the challenge is kill X amount of enemies while airborne. And honestly, I didn't want to do that. I just didn't fancy doing that right now. There's a lot of enemies, and I didn't want to be airborne and like floating around the place. I don't have any mods to make me wall latch longer, slide longer, or be in the air longer. So I rejected this one. And the moment you reject or do a decree, there is a cooldown on that second ability. As you can see, it's already gone. It was only 5 seconds long, but that cooldown does increase, which is where the Omikuju augment mod comes in. So if you kill enemies with the weapon that is affected by your passive, you get a reduction of 4 seconds on that countdown, that cooldown. For I can't know if it's every enemy that you kill with the passive weapon, which is the little weapon that's to the right, the left of your dice there. I can't remember exactly, but you know, just kill things, and the cooldown will just. I mean, honestly, the cooldown didn't become too much of an issue, only because once you've got these decree buffs, they don't go anywhere. They sit there with you for the rest of the mission. There's no timer on them. So once you've got your nice little buff, it's just sat there happily working alongside you. This one was the morale boost, so we're getting an energy regen increase every time we have full health, and it also works for our drifter as well for their transference bar. Great. So we carried on with that, and if you can't remember your decrees, all you have to do is press the pause button, and once you press the pause button, it appears on the top right of the screen. Hover over it, and they will stack up. The more you get, they'll stack up all the way down the side of that screen. I've only got like a maximum of 3 or 4 buffs, decrees. At this point, I haven't actually stayed in long enough to carry on doing the challenges, and I felt like the longer I stayed in a mission, the higher the amount of enemies I had to take down to get the decree done, which started to feel a bit irksome. At that point, you just don't have to do them anymore. You've still got the buffs from the other ones you did. I mean, you can keep going. And as you can see, we're doing the wall latch decree right now, and once we've completed that, we'll get another little buff. And I don't know if you caught it, the Kexax Pounce. Basically, that buff allows us to stay in the air longer, and whilst we're in the air, we get a 60% damage increase to taking on enemies. Obviously, it wears off 2 seconds after we've landed, but you can just take off again. Now, I don't know if you caught it at the beginning, but one of the decree challenges is to kill enemies whilst you're airborne, and I didn't want to do it because I wasn't in the air long enough. So, you know, if I got another decree coming up that was an airborne decree, like kill things whilst you're in the air, this buff from a previous decree is going to help us because we can stay in the air longer and we do 60% more damage whilst we're in the air. Why not? And like, why am I not jumping? Why am I not jumping more right now? It's like I already forgot. So that pause screen actually helps you to remember, like, oh, yes, hang on, I should be doing this because I could do even more damage. So generally now, say I was in a mission and I've got this airborne damage increase. If I stay airborne for most of the mission, I'm just going to carry on doing 60% more damage. When I take down enemies, and I didn't think about it. It's as I'm editing, I start realizing just how good she is, and if you pay attention to her decrees and her buffs and which weapon to use, yes, there's a few things to pay attention to, yes, but the more you use her, the more you get used to it, and the more you understand what you're looking at, the higher the number on the dice roll. For instance, well, now I want to pop a certain ability that's going to do more damage. You know, I want to marionette string up these people around me because I've got a really high number, or I've got 666s, or whatever. I mean, it's so delicious. I started to get a little bit addicted to Kume. So I just wanted to share on the love. Now, you don't have to use the Omokuji, you don't have to use the augment. I still think she's really good without it. But I think if I was staying in a high level for a long time, I probably would want it, just to see if doing these decree challenges helps at all, which I think it will. And I can see now, because of the buffs are so good and they stay with you permanently for the entirety of that mission, you know, perhaps that's why they had to cap it slightly, otherwise it would just get stupid. The devs rarely do anything without a very good reason. And yes, there's that temptation to say, like, just give us the powerful Warframe. Not everyone's going to realise how they can use it. Like, it's going to be like a little secret for some of us. And we'll make the most of it. Like, come on, just give us all the power. More power. Anyway, my darlings, what do you think? What do you think of Kume? Do you actually use her? Have you got her yet? I'm going to get a second Kume and Helminth her, because that's just the thing that you do. There is no Kume Prime right now, and I doubt there will be for a while. But as you can see, we're getting some nice buffs coming up these decrees. I'm a very happy lady. And I'm starting to really enjoy Kume, and I really love her vibe. I love the little sound effects, the marionette string sound effects. She's just a very cutesy badass, you know? She's kind of got the Korra vibe, you know, very pretty, very cutesy, but oh my goodness, she can really do a lot of damage. So let me know what you think of her. In the meantime, I'm going to say thank you for watching, and the names that have been appearing on the screen, as it mentioned on my YouTube, Wolf and Fearless Barbarians, and these people have actually paid their real life money to get hold of my videos earlier, and a lot of them are in the Discord. They come and go, obviously, but all the support that people give me, whether it's fleeting or permanent, or just hanging around in my Discord, or leaving comments on my channel, really do make a massive difference to me. So I just wanted to say a very quick thank you to all of you that have been supporting me, you know, whether it's quietly, passively, or actively. You guys are awesome. So there you go, my darlings. What do we think of the new augment mod? Let me know in the comments. Have you used it? Will you be employing it? As I said, a lot of the builds that I saw on Overframe and my own build had kind of helminthed off that particular ability, though can't really use the augment mod much there. But I think, you know, it will help if you don't helminth off that ability, I guess. Let me know where you're at with it, and what do you think of Kume generally? I actually think she's got a lot of potential. I think she's cute AF. I kind of like her, and I love her little clippy cloppy heels when you run around. I'm a girl, what can I say? Anyway, my darlings, let me know what you think. Like I said before, come and join the Discord if you'd like some company in Warframe, or just gaming in general. Go and check out my other videos. Thank you to my YouTube subscribers, as we've already mentioned. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining me. I really do hope to see you again in the next one, no matter what it may be. But in the meantime, you take care now, and goodbye.